Hello, in this video we will explore the product rule, one of the most important things from calculus. As you might remember, we are allowed to add two functions f and g no problem, and even subtract them. But what happens if we try to multiply f and g? What is the derivative of f of x times g of x? And it's not what you're thinking, just the derivatives multiplied together. Now, we obviously have to start from first principles, like always, so let's sub it in. We get this beauty. Now, you may ask, how do we simplify this? Well, we can do a little trick. What if I add something and then subtract it, like plus 1 minus 1? We aren't adding anything, but we can still use it to move stuff around. So, what if we add and then subtract this instead? F of x plus h times g of x. We can add and subtract it from the numerator, and remember, it's just equal to 0. So we are adding nothing. But what we can do now is group minus f of x times g of x and f of x plus h times g of x and bring them out of the fraction, splitting our limit into two easier limits. Let's start with the right. We can factor out g of x and bring it out of the limit, and that leaves us with the textbook definition of f prime of x. So the right side evaluates to g of x times f prime of x. Now, let's take a closer look at the left. We can factor out f of x plus h, and what remains is the derivative of g of x. But what happens as h approaches 0? Well, f of x plus h approaches f of x, so the whole thing just approaches f of x times g prime of x. Meaning our whole derivative approaches f of x times g prime of x plus g of x times f prime of x. Now, you might not be convinced yet, so I'll show the whole process with this function, x squared times 2 to the power of x. So we throw it into our base definition and get this. Next, let's add and subtract x plus h squared times 2 to the power of x. We group our terms and split the limit. Then factor out 2 to the power of x and x plus h squared. Now our right limit, which becomes 2x times 2 to the power of x. And the left approaches x squared times the derivative of 2 to the power of x, which is the natural log of 2 times 2 to the power of x. I'll get into why in a future video. Now, if we look at what would happen with our formula, yes, it's spot on. Now, we can actually use this in combination with the chain rule to get the derivative of f of x over g of x. First, we can write this as f of x times g of x to the power of minus 1. And now we can use the product rule to get the derivative to be f prime of x times g of x to the power of minus 1 plus f of x times the derivative of g of x to the power of minus 1, which we can use the chain rule to get minus g prime of x over g of x squared, which results to this. We can then simplify to get this formula. If we try this on, let's say, x cubed over sine of x, we get the derivative of each, which would be 3x squared and cosine of x, and we put them all into the formula to get this. So, if you want to give them a go, here are some practice problems. The answers will appear in 10 seconds. If you gave them a go, here are the answers. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. I hope you learned something new, and have a nice day.